Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Hey, J-Bone Nation!
Boo, Indy. Liar.
Shaming of Jay.
I'm the map, I'm the map.
He's not a dopey dummy.
I'm your Huckleberry.
He gets laid.
Fuck your life!
The
Bing
court
bong!
jester. The court DJ.
Cuda.
It's time to
Cuda.
dive into the case. To the case.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the afternoon edition. Day 9? Are we day 9? I forget. I think we are. What's up, Afy, Dizzy, Pam, KTG, Drew Gambino, Pinball Addict, Lisa, Groot, KJ, Deja, Amber, Rachel, Just Mimi, Stacy, Defense Attorney Meow, Natasha, Drew, Beck22, Donnie, Elizabeth L, Dizzy, B Rabbit. Am I the only one that thinks of Eminem with B Rabbit? P.I. Lisa, Mrs. B's, Crafting Life in the Future. It's Wednesday in sunny Australia. Lamom James. Thanks for being here, everybody. Did I miss anyone? Probably. Josie, D.A., Mia. All right, let's make sure we don't miss anything. Squadushel. Is the bot woken up? Probably not. Amy Albers, Amy in New Jersey, Wildfire, Joanne. Thank you all for being here. D.A. Oh, the bot is up. Squadushel. That's wonderful. There we go. Throw this up here. Wonderful. What's up, guys? Tiff Knox is here. What's up, Tiff? Put this here. Put this here. Put this here. All right, guys. Thanks for being here for the afternoon session. Let's put this. No. Who's ready to see the saddest dog that has ever lived? Pendleton, Terry Pendleton, Friendleton. Here she is. Oh. There she is. The saddest dog. And I think, and I'm pretty sure it's because they think that there are additional TREATS that are in Donnie's box, although we took them all out. Maybe we missed some, and they want more, despite having Kim Hello Spring is here. What's up? Can you see Penny, the saddest friend? She wants me to know that she's in here, but she's facing the other way because she is sad. What's up, Brooklyn? Kelly Bowbelly. Zafiro, Intolerant. Oh, it's a homage to 8 Mile. Good, nice. Homage. Cassandra Perez, what's up? Patricia Happ, what's up? It's so, Karen, so you talk about Romper Room. I have never seen Romper Room. I'm not really sure what Romper Room is. The only reason I know Romper Room is because I remember in like 3rd to 5th grade, I don't remember, my gym teacher, Mr. Trombetta, Mr. T we used to call him, when people were messing around, he would get mad and he would say, "This is not Romper Room," and I never knew what it meant. So I've never seen Romper Room, but that's what he would say. This is not Romper Room. Amber's here. Mia's here. So we got both Mia's here. Monica Steebs is here. Next chapter is here. Thanks for being here, everybody. Carrie 28. Some folks know what Romper Room is, not me. Melissa Wigley. Don't worry, folks. We're not missing anything. They have not started yet. Let's see if my counter is working again or if it's still broken. It's still broken. The saddest friend. Penny. All right, guys. I'll give her a treat. You want me to give her a treat? Oh, there's a friend. Sit down, Tubby. Oh, and there's another friend. Wait, back up, Prudence. Sit down. Back up. Sit down. Prudence, sit down. Sit down. All right, let's see. Penny, can she catch this one? Penny, son of a... All right, now get out of here, dogs. Wildfire, defense attorney meow, pinball addict, KJ, Patricia. Did I miss anyone? I hope not. Deja, just Mimi, creative minds. Prudence! Leave that. You see, Prudence is going for a paper towel. That Donnie wrapped everything in paper towels. So now Prudence is going to destroy it because she feels she has not received enough treats. Oh, it's 3:37, guys. That's what it is. Oh, I'm such a dummy. I'm looking at the time in Santa Fe, but really it's 20 minutes until they're supposed to have dinner, and that's what's going on here. Hello, Anita. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Cam. Hello, Pamela Court. Pamela, I don't know. They are both rescues. We've never had them tested. Hello, Norwegian Blonde. Whenever I see Norwegian Blonde, I think of Norwegian Wood. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. Jonathan Borden, Harley Girl, Pam, Debbie. My dogs' names are Penny and Prudence. Eshni. Karen's here. Jersey Jen is here. How many people we got from Jersey, the armpit of America? Cecilia R. is here. Oh, in Romper Room, they call out names in Romper Room? Is that what's going on? Why is this camera not focused, and why is it always like dark? That's better. Jill down. No, they didn't finish Cross. They did not finish Cross, Jill. They still have to finish it. And then redirect. Yaya Kelly. I'm not a Jersey basher per se. I do not like driving there because in New Jersey, T is here. In New Jersey's bizarre. In order to make a left turn in New Jersey, you have to make a right turn. Am I right? Prudence just grabbed the box. Everyone see that? She just grabbed the box. Hello, Beck22. I missed Beck22. Dizzy. Thank you, Ashni, for saying it's a great channel. Prudence! Prudence is now destroying the box that Donnie sent that said there's actually nothing in here. Penny's waiting for more treats. Let's see if she'll catch this. Whenever she is on camera, she won't catch. She can actually catch pretty good. Now, go back. Sit down, Tubbs. Sit down. If you can see, the Mets playing the Yankees on the TV in the living room. Sit down. Catch this. Oh, good try. Amanda's here. Lily Flores is here. Yaya Kelly. As always, they're not back on time in court. Prudence, get out of here. You're being bad. Get out of here. Sarah's here. I do like Wawa. Wawa's good. Oh, guys, this is, you guys will find this funny. I got for the folks who know the Adelson case, I got a hilarious comment, which I think the person was being serious. You ready for this comment I got? It was, I think Wendy and Sigfredo had a thing going on. I've never seen that before. Wendy and Sigfredo. That's hilarious. What's up, Muffy? What's up, Debbie? What's up, Southern Charmed? Deanna's here. Look at this dog. You see how bad they are when it's still 20 minutes before they're supposed to eat. By the way, if you're coming in late, the camera, they're not back from court yet, so that's why I'm sitting here. Hi, Linda. Yeah, hit that like button on the way in. My number thing isn't working, so that's annoying. Prudence. Hey, Sandy, Jesky. Here comes Tubby. Sit down, Penny. Good girl. One more. One more. Catch it this time, Tubbs. Nope, sit down. That was a bad throw. That was a bad throw. Hello, Susie Storm from the Fantastic Four. Always nice to have a superhero in the chat. Tad is here. Says, unpopular opinion, the state is doing terrible, and Hannah will walk. We shall see. Tia is here. Daniela V is here. Don't forget to change. Yes, don't forget to change to live messages. For some reason, YouTube defaults to top chat when it should be live chat. Brenda, now this should work. The bot's awake.
Because I'm going to bunk with you, buddy. We're going to be buddies. We're going to be pals. We're going to wrestle around.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Welcome. What's up, Donna White? Capri Sun's in the chat. New member, Brenda. Thank you so much. They don't know many tricks, Jay. They Penny knows some. Penny knows sit, down, paw. Prudence's anxiety and doesn't know much. She knows sit, and that's about it. Prudence is being so bad right now. What's up, Debbie? Helen's here. Bonnie's here. I hate when I miss people. Hey, Irene is here.
I said money!
Oh, Tree with $5 first super on a live stream. Thank you so much, Tree. I appreciate that very much, Tree. Thank you. First super. Let's celebrate it. Penny doesn't know wait, and she doesn't know gentle. That's in your head. Babe thinks she can give a this is hilarious. Babe thinks she can give a TREAC to Penny, and she'll say gentle, and like that Penny will like chew like not as hard. It's not true though. Babe says she has a TikTok. Share your TikTok in the chat, babe. What's up, Katie girl? Prudence.
She does know weight. She doesn't get her dinner until you say, okay, go. You tell her to wait.
That's true. I guess she kind of knows weight. Court is coming back late, folks. And again, if you missed the morning stream, oh, Wildfire.
I said money!
Number 2 on the money train.
Thank you so much, Wildfire. Thank you so much. If you missed it, it was the defense made a motion and it was denied, and the state does not have to prove that Hannah brought the live rounds on the set. They do not have to prove that because she loaded the gun. Thank you so much, Wildfire. Kim has an automatic ball launcher. I wish that would be cool. Although my dogs don't bring it back. Penny kind of brings it to me, and then she fights me to like keep it. But she's the good girl, right, Penny? Nothing like a court that doesn't return on time. If I'm a juror, I want the court to be back on time. Although it could be the jury that's late. I don't know. Pamela asks, will they make a movie about the making of this movie? I vote yes. That's a good question for a poll. I bet they will. Let's see. Start a poll. Do you think they will make a movie about the making of Rust? Kim is gifting out a membership. Let's see who gets it.
Fuck your life. Bing bong.
Yaya Kelly. Thank you so much, Kim. For folks who don't know, Ned Smith is Kim. Thank you so much,
I'm
Kim.
gonna bunk with you, buddy.
Welcome.
We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna wrestle around.
Babe, does that have music or can I play it? All right, here we go, folks. Who wants to see?
You can take a small bite.
Let's see if Penny actually knows Gentle. And actually, this is a younger pup Penny, if I remember. Let's see. There's Penny. Do you think she knows Gentle? There she is. Here we go. Hold on. Does she know Gentle? You decide. Here we go.
You can take a small bite. Just bite the corner like this. You see? Just bite it. Gentle.
That was not Gentle.
Who else has a question for me and Chris? Yes.
No, let me go back. No. Where is that again? Let's try that one more time.
You can take a small bite. Just bite the corner like this. You see? Just bite it. Gentle.
No, that was not Gentle. Anyway.
You want to blow up on
Nope,
TikTok? And
don't want to watch this. Bye. What are you laughing at? I shouldn't have started a poll because I have to start a new poll. Do you think that was Gentle? No, that wasn't Gentle. You guys were not paying attention to that. Letitia is here. A delicate bite. All right, fine. It was Gentle. She knows Gentle. Babe is very adamant about this. Sherry in NY says Gentle. How many folks are in New York like me? Chloe and Sally say so Gentle. Babe thinks that's funny. That was a very Gilded Age. Like a fancy pants. Like that guy who testified with his mustache. That guy was from the Gilded Age. The guy who made the blurry pictures blurrier. All dogs are good dogs, Kate A says. Donna, I didn't say she was mean as hell. Babe needs her own emoji. She does have her own emoji. However, I'm limited in the amount of emojis I can have until we have more members. Massachusetts, grew up in Mineola. Very cool. Jay Polanco is here. Connecticut, nice. I don't even have an emoji on here. There's a J Rant emoji. It's not on here. Daniela V with a $5 first super. Thank you so much, Daniela. We have two of our first supers on the stream. Thank you so much, Daniela. Wow, you commute to Queens, Kate A? That's how's that commute? That's probably a pain in the Botox. Philly girl in Texas, defense attorney, meow. Why are we never on time? Moto, Northern California. Amanda says, Jay, supposedly there's a documentary about the making of the movie and honoring Helena, and it's to come out when the movie does. Interesting. Thank you, Amanda. Hey, what's up, Carolyn A? Northern Ontario, little town called Garson. Oh, nope. See, this is why I have my, you see why I have my, like, thirds thing? Watch this. Squaducial. Goodbye. Northern Arkansas. Oh, now Prudence is doing the sad act. Now Prudence is sad. Is Penny by you? No. Oh. Hmm. She's under the table. Laguna Hills. Chicago suburbs, Starlight Stella, Nebraska, Lakota. Sky Troop between Seattle and Canada. Folks, I don't know what's going on here, but of course, they're not back on time. The clock is messed up. Muffy Donovan gifted a membership. Who's going to get it? Karen's in Los Angeles. Let's see who gets it. Jay Polanco, 2008. Thank you so much, Muffy. I appreciate it. Capri Sun's in the chat. More members. Thank you, Muffy Donovan. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna bunk with you, buddy. We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna wrestle around.
For folks, I guess I could, while we're waiting. Natasha said that's okay. It's fun to hang out. I always feel like people are like, "What the fuck? What am I supposed to do now? There's nothing going on." For folks who don't know what why we have Capri Suns when we get new members, I started my first true crime case that I've ever paid attention to in my life. For folks who don't know this story, I never, ever, ever paid attention to true crime. Shannon watched this shit all the time. In fact, at one time I said, "Can we have one day without murder?" So Shannon, Carolyn A with a $7 super chat, from Canada. Thank you so much, Carolyn A. So I watched the Murdaugh trial. I tweeted it. That's the only reason I have this channel. I got popular on Twitter because of the Murdaugh trial. And by the way, because of my rants. So for people that get mad at me for my rants, the only reason I'm the only reason I have a channel or subscribers or people following me is because of my rants. I used to be on Caps tweeting how Murdaugh was a lunatic. Any hoozle, he asked to get Capri Suns once, and he asked for orange Capri Suns, and that's when I really knew that he did it. So that's why we have orange Capri Suns. Thank you so much to Carolyn A. Really appreciate that. Thanks for being here, guys. Still waiting for court to start. Hopefully any minute now. And does anyone know the second true crime case I followed? Tracy's on the kick machine. M Entranced is here. Thank you for watching Shannon's channel. Appreciate that, M Entranced. Well, the second Paltrow was the first one I streamed, but the second true crime case that I actually watched, Babe also told me to watch. No, well, Gwyneth was civil. I'm talking about criminal case. Whoa, B Rabbit.
Thanks, Jay, mods, and chat. You are awesome.
$30.99 in Australian money, whatever that's called. Thank you so much, B Rabbit. You are too kind. Thank you so much, B Rabbit. Brooklyn says, thank you so much for 208 of our best bows, silently judging and wait for Jay to dazzle and entertain us. No pressure. Hit that like button while you're here. The second case Babe, you know the answer to this, right, Babe? Yeah, the Adelsons, folks. That was the second case she got. She knew she could hook me. What was it, Dateline or 2020? What? It was a Dateline. Babe got me to watch the Adelsons on Dateline. That was the second case. Murder number 1, Adelsons number 2. Dan Markel. Dom's mom is here. And that's kind of why we started watching that trial. We didn't have a live trial. And I said, let's, and everyone knew, a lot of people knew about the case, but I didn't. And I immediately just lost my mind when I saw Wendy on the stand. The defense called 2 OSHA representatives, Carolyn, that were terrible and boring and nothing. And now they have a law enforcement private investigator who is basically saying that the police did a bad job investigating. Shannon sounds so sweet and innocent. She is. She is. She's the best babe. What? Who said that? M Tran said that. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Helen. One of the nice things about me doing my videos that I like, some people will say they've never seen certain evidence before, even though they're familiar with the case. So I'm always happy when I get a comment that says, oh, wow, I didn't know that. So, because I am, there are people who know a lot about it, a lot more than me, like Fancy Fiction and Jared Ross and Katie Cool Lady. Obviously, babe, what's the guy? Why am I blanking on his name now? Carl? No. The brothers. Not Steve and Dan, babe. Steve and Dan. Yeah, Steve and Dan. That's... Yes, the Steinbecks. I'm an idiot. Carl Steinbeck. Carl Steinbeck. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Those are the ones that they know it. Yes, everyone's putting yes, Steinbeck. Sorry, I had a brain fart. CH is here. Here's Babe's channel. I just shared it in case you're not subscribed yet. Babe is a mental health expert, and she gives her thoughts on things. She does she's a person that does the things. There are people that do things. Shannon's one of them. Babe, it's 4:00 if you didn't know. Oh, she already fed them, and look what's going on. She already fed them. And look, she's back already because now she wants her after dinner snack, which she's not getting yet. This is insane. Weren't they supposed to be back like a half hour ago? How long have I been vamping for? Is that the right word? No. That's funny, Carolyn. Someone commented yesterday. They were like, "You're Jay's wife?" on Babe's video. That's my wife. My wife. Hold on. Do I have that one? No, I don't.
Nice. Wow, wow, wee, wow.
Helen gifting out a membership to Melissa Wigley. Thank you so much, Helen. I appreciate it very much. Welcome, Melissa. Capri Sun's in the chat.
We're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be pals. We're gonna wrestle around.
Defense attorney Meow says, "I'm happy to see healthy weights." Oh, good. I'm glad. I won't say the word, but IWALK them. I've been trying to do 5 times a week, but it's usually 3 to 5 times a week. Thank you so much, Helen, giving it to Melissa Wigley. Awesome. Now you got the emojis. Penny is the saddest dog, and here she is, the saddest dog that's ever lived. Penny. Come here. Yes, the good girl. Rabbit says, "Jay, if you're wondering where they all are, the culture of the Southwest, especially when it becomes being on time, follows the one word rule of mañana." Well, I'll tell you this. As a New Yorker, obnoxious New Yorker. Hi, Penny. Babe, do you see this? Look at this face on this dog. Oh, we're back. As a New Yorker, when I go to the South, the service usually makes me very angry. This guy's back in a camouflage jacket. I can only see that guy's head. All right, we're back with Mike Francesa on the stand.
All right, you may be seated.
All right, Mr. Elliott, I want to just back up for a brief moment, and I want to go back to any concerns you had about the projectile not matching the gun. I'm not sure that I fully understand what your concerns are in that regard. Would you articulate them for us again?
Yes, I was referring to the concerns that a detective would have upon arriving at scene. You don't have at the time, the results of lab testing. So, and you have nothing guaranteed.
What do you mean, nothing guaranteed?
Well, at the time, you had some people saying this is the gun, but you didn't have any evidence, scientific evidence, showed that was the gun, which was later found to be true. I'm just talking about, you have so many variables and so many unknowns that you can only use interviews on the scene to confirm and deny things. One person saying this is the gun, that may very well be the gun. But you have to see if someone else can verify that. You know, later on you're going to have lab results, not at the time. And that's what I was referring to, is at the time, at the scene on October 21st.
So what's your concern then about the investigation that the Sheriff's Department did with regard to the gun? Is your testimony that after Ms. Gutierrez identified the gun to Lieutenant Benavides and handed him the gun, there should have been more follow-up with regard to whether or not that was really the gun? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because she's not the one that handed the gun to Mr. Baldwin. There are people in between that process. So
continue, sir. I apologize.
all right. Again, pieces of information come out as they're going through both processing the scene and interviewing people. And now we know that there is some time delay between the firearm being loaded, the firearm being on the cart, the firearm making it to Mr. Baldwin inside the church. And that's what I meant by the investigation at the time. A lot of information is coming out over months. Some information has come much later.
But you agree with me that Ms. Gutierrez handed Lieutenant Benavides the gun and said, this is the gun that was being used, and when she said that, she had been identified as the armorer on the movie set. You agree with that?
I do.
And you also agree that, not surprisingly, that turned out to be the gun. You agree with that?
Oh, I do, yes.
So, any potential issues with regard to that specific concern of yours didn't turn out to be issues. There's no issue. You agree with that? This is the gun that fired that projectile.
Correct, yes.
Okay. When we left off, there was an objection, and I'm going to go through with you. You were talking about the ammo boxes. I think that was where the objection was. So, as the investigator in this case, have you reviewed all of the body-worn camera footage?
I have. There's a lot.
So have I.
Yes.
I'm sympathetic to the exhausted look on your face. I'm going to show you what has been marked as what is already in evidence as State's Exhibit 192. Sir, have you seen this exhibit?
I have.
And you agree with me that this is Lieutenant Benavides is pointing to the box that Ms. Gutierrez identified as the box that she was pulling ammunition from. Do you agree with that?
He is pointing to a box of ammunition, yes.
Are you indicating that you believe that the box here in this picture was not the box that she was pulling ammunition from?
No, I'm not. There were two boxes, and I don't know if it was clearly delineated to him which of the two boxes was where the ammo was drawn from.
Well, you understood that the gun was loaded with dummies, or was supposed to be loaded with dummies at the time of the incident, right?
Right.
And you also understand that this was the only box of dummies on the cart. You understand that, right?
Yes.
The other boxes were blanks, correct?
Correct.
And Ms. Gutierrez said to Lieutenant Benavides, this is the box I was pulling from, right?
Yes.
You don't think that Ms. Gutierrez meant to say I was pulling from a box of blanks when the gun was loaded with supposed dummies, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Man, she can't hide her disdain. She's so bad.
State's Exhibit 62. Have you seen this photo?
I probably have hundreds of photos of white boxes, but I can't
That
specifically say this photo.
does the box on the left, does that label look familiar to you in your investigation in this case?
It does.
So, based on your investigation, do you have any reason to believe that the box that Ms. Gutierrez pointed out to Lieutenant Benavides is not this box that he took and placed in his unit?
I do not. And I believe that photo is taken in the unit, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I can see the seat.
State's Exhibit 63. You understand that this is a photo of that exact same box when it was taken into evidence at the Sheriff's Department, right?
Yes, that's how it's labeled, yes.
I'm not asking how it's labeled. You've reviewed the evidence at the evidence room, right?
Yes,
And you've reviewed all the photographs that were taken on scene.
yes.
Let me ask you, isn't it true that there was only one box found with this label? Isn't that correct?
That I don't know.
You're the defense investigator on this case, right?
Yes.
Have you seen photographs of a box that looks like this, but is loaded with something other than what this box was loaded with? Sir, do you have any reason to believe that there were two boxes with this label that were taken into evidence?
I do not know.
State's Exhibit 69. Have you seen this photo?
Again, I've seen dozens of photos. So.
Well, you're here to give an opinion about the investigation on this case. Are you not familiar with this photograph?
Specifically, no.
Okay. Did you watch the interview in November that Ms. Gutierrez gave to Detective Hancock?
I did.
And do you recall during that interview, Ms. Gutierrez holds up her phone and says, "This is a picture of our dummies," meaning the dummies that she would bring on the set. Do you recall that?
I do recall that, yes.
Isn't this the photo that she showed? You don't know?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. You weren't watching the testimony of our expert, Mr. Hawks, when he.
If the OSHA guy is still there, he's going to stand up and say, "I object. This is not safe for the witness. He's falling apart."
Laid the foundation for this and indicated that this photograph was sent from a contact in her phone named Dad Kula to her the day before the interview with Detective Hancock. Were you not aware of that?
I was not, no.
So, sir, based on Ms. Gutierrez's statements, would it be her own statements to law enforcement, would it be reasonable for law enforcement to believe that State's Exhibit 62, this box here in the foreground, is indeed the box she was pulling from because she said that? Wouldn't that be reasonable for law enforcement to believe that?
Yes, it would.
And you understand that that box was determined to have a live round?
Yes.
And you agree with me that that box that had the live round matches this photo that was shown to Detective Hancock during the November 9th interview? You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Sir, do you still have questions and concerns about how the live rounds got on set?
I do.
You don't think that law enforcement can simply take Ms. Gutierrez's word for it, that this is her box and this is the one she was pulling from and this is the one where live rounds were found?
Yes, but what we don't know is how many times those boxes were unloaded and reloaded. Every time that one of the firearms were loaded with dummy rounds, they came out of a box. They didn't necessarily go back into the same box.
Do you agree with me, sir, that there are certain things in homicide investigations that just...
I hope they reboot paying this guy 10 grand too.
Thank you so much, Intolerant.
simply can't be controlled for? You agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Sir, what's the smallest police department you've ever worked for?
Albuquerque PD.
You agree with me that the Albuquerque Police Department is approximately 10 times the size of the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department with regard to the number of commissioned officers?
I am. I think Albuquerque is around 850, and I think Santa Fe's 120, 130, something like that.
Okay. More than 8 times.
Right.
You agree with that math?
I do.
Have you ever worked on a homicide investigation on a movie set?
I have not.
Do you agree with me that normally in homicide investigations, police aren't concerned with where the live ammo came from? This case is unique in that regard, isn't it?
This case is unique from the beginning, yes.
Okay, it is,
Yes.
right? It's unique from the beginning. So police officers, you would agree, are not trained in how to investigate homicides on movie sets where they're not supposed to have live rounds, they're supposed to have fake rounds. Cops aren't trained in that, right?
Specifically, no.
Okay. And you agree with me, don't you, that Lieutenant Benavidez can't just let Ms. Gutierrez walk around the movie set with a firearm that appears to have just shot 2 people. You agree with that?
Oh, I do agree with that with reference to firearm, yes.
Yeah. It was incumbent on Lieutenant Benavidez to remove that firearm from her possession, correct?
From anyone's possession, yes.
And you just take issue with the fact that he didn't put a glove on before he did it.
Well, basically, yes.
But you agree that the fact that he didn't put a glove on didn't turn out to create any significant evidentiary issues in this case because everybody knew who was holding the gun and everybody knew who shot the gun. You agree with that?
I do.
And sir, you also agree with me, don't you, that a police officer's first responsibility is to save human lives, not collect evidence?
Correct, as I stated, yes.
And do you recall that Ms. Gutierrez was actually checked by EMTs when she was sitting in the back of Lieutenant Benavidez's patrol unit?
Yes, I did see that.
And you agree that she was allowed to make phone calls?
Yes, she was.
I think you indicated that you talked a little bit about that Detective Hancock sort of took possession of Ms. Gutierrez. Do you recall the statement that you made in that regard?
I do.
So I want to ask you, and one of the examples you gave was that Detective Hancock even accompanied Ms. Gutierrez to the restroom, right?
Yes, she did.
But in watching the body-worn camera footage, isn't it true that Sergeant Christopher Zook tells Detective Hancock, she doesn't want to go to the bathroom alone, will you take her to the bathroom? Ms. Gutierrez actually asks to be accompanied to the bathroom. Do you recall that?
I do.
And do you agree with me that it was Ms. Gutierrez who asked to be placed in Detective Hancock's patrol unit? That wasn't something that the police just unilaterally did with her.
No, she did. She did ask.
Is there a problem with them granting her request that she be accompanied to the bathroom?
No, but I didn't think that included going into the bathroom with her. Can I elaborate?
Sure.
I believe she stated something along the lines of she didn't want to talk to anyone from production. So it's kind of like if she was with Detective Hancock, she wouldn't be approached by any of her coworkers. I think that was her intention of being escorted. But I didn't think it included going into the bathroom itself.
Well, she went into the bathroom and she had her back turned to Ms. Gutierrez. What's the big deal? Ms. Gutierrez asked for an escort. How did that hurt the investigation?
Hurt the investigation?
Yeah.
It did not.
Now, Ms. Gutierrez stayed on set and she was sitting in a police car with the door open, and there was a coworker of hers sitting in there visiting with her. You agree with that?
Yes, I do.
And she had her phone. You agree with that?
Yes.
She was allowed to make phone calls.
Yes.
She was never placed in handcuffs. You agree with that?
Correct.
So what's problematic about that? How was she mistreated by police?
I didn't say she was mistreated. It was every appearance of not being free to leave. I based that on the fact that when Lieutenant Benavides would step away from his vehicle, he would tell a deputy to keep an eye on her. If she's free to leave and she's just sitting in the back of the unit with an open door, she should be allowed to walk away if she wanted to. It gives the impression that she is in custody when you're not free from constant observation from law enforcement.
Well, but isn't it true that she seemed to be having a panic attack, and it was appropriate for Lieutenant Benavides, when he walked away, to ask another officer to keep an eye on her, to make sure she's okay? Isn't that true?
At that time, she appeared fine.
Did she? Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
So, was it your expectation that Mr. Baldwin should have been detained? Do you believe that they should have detained him?
I do.
And do you believe that they should have put him in a police car and taken his phone away?
Not necessarily placed in a police car, but he should have been segregated from the other witnesses, and his phone should have been taken to preserve evidence.
Don't you agree with me that there has to be probable cause that there may be evidence on the phone before the phone can be taken?
But they wouldn't know if there was going to be evidence on the phone without interviewing him. There was no other way to know whether there was evidence on that phone or not. But he was on the phone when law enforcement arrived.
Look at Balls. Even Balls is squinting like, what the fuck is this guy saying?
So, who was he talking to?
Well, did you look at his call logs?
That's after the fact. I'm talking about when deputies arrived at the scene.
Okay, I appreciate that. But what I'm trying to figure out is, what about your concerns actually turned out to be real issues with the investigation? What evidence was missing or hidden by Mr. Baldwin? What evidence do you have?
We don't have the full contents of his phone.
Has the defense filed any kind of a motion in this case to try to get the full contents of his phone?
That I don't know.
And you understand, though, that a full extraction of Mr. Baldwin's phone was done in New York, but we were given a limited report. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
And you also understand that originally the same thing happened with Ms. Gutierrez. A limited report was generated from a full extraction, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you agree with me that defense counsel is free to issue subpoenas and file motions to compel and do all of those things in a case if they feel that they're missing evidence?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So do you think that it would have been appropriate then for law enforcement to take Ms. Gutierrez's phone away from her and not let her make a phone call to her mother?
That can be monitored also. I've seen it done both ways. I've seen them taken away where they're not allowed to make any phone calls, and I've also seen where they've been able to make a call in the presence of law enforcement.
Sir, generally in your experience as a law enforcement officer, do you usually continue to investigate an individual for a crime after you have, let's say for months, after you have been unable to develop a single lead that that person was involved? Do you need me to rephrase that question?
I think I understand your question. You're saying, do you continue an investigation of someone that you have no information?
Yeah, right. You looked, you executed a search warrant, you interviewed the person numerous times, and you just simply don't have any evidence that they were involved. At some point, don't they just not become a suspect anymore?
I don't know if that's the correct phrase, but your investigation is over. You've taken the investigation as far as you can go.
Right.
Right.
So at some point with Mr. Kinney, they executed a search warrant, they interviewed him numerous times, and they didn't come up with anything. So what do you think they should have done to continue?
At that point, there wasn't much further they could go.
And, sir, are you aware that the FBI...
Someone get Bowles a white towel. Throw the towel, man. He's cut him, Mick. He needs it. Throw the towel.
I will not do DNA testing on rounds, whether they're spent or unspent. Were you aware of that?
I heard about it in this case, but they have done DNA testing on casings, unspent casings.
Well, weren't you present? Were you present for a pretrial interview of the DNA expert in this case?
I was.
And you heard her during the interview state that they won't do this kind of DNA testing, correct?
I did.
All right. And you agree with me, sir, that police officers, when they arrived on scene, they knew immediately who the shooter was?
I think that information arrived shortly after the first deputies arrived, but it was before the lieutenant arrived. There's a little lag there, but not much time at all.
Okay, and Mr. Baldwin didn't leave the scene, did he?
He did not.
Guys, don't feel bad for Mike Francesa. He's going to go home and take a nap on $10,000 on his bed. Don't feel bad for this guy.
You testified on direct examination that there was a person who left the scene that was never identified. Do you recall making that statement?
I did, and that was based on what came out of some of the interviews. I don't quite recall. I think the lieutenant asked if we had everybody. And
what lieutenant are you talking about?
Lieutenant Benavides.
Okay.
And one of the deputies responded with, one left. And I think he asked who that was, and the deputy didn't know.
That's just a guess. He hasn't
said. But you know, don't you? Because you interviewed him and you asked him. Didn't you interview Reed Russell? And when you interviewed Reed Russell, he told you that he left so that he could go to the hospital to be with his close friends. And before he left, he gave all of his contact information to the police. You interviewed him. Do you recall that?
I did.
Do you need to see a copy of the interview?
I don't.
And you also understand that Mr. Russell, who left the scene to go to the hospital, was interviewed the very next day by Detective Cano. Aren't you aware of that?
I am, yes.
So what's the mystery? Who's the mystery man that left the set? He was identified, right? Correct?
Mr. Russell was identified, but I was never quite clear if it was the same individual.
Even though you asked him and he said, I'm the guy that left the set to go to the hospital?
Yes, but did he know he was the only one who left?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. I'll pass the witness.
Oh, ask him how much.
Redirect.
Good luck.
Mr. Elliott,
Good luck, Pauls.
you're aware from all your experience in law enforcement that it is the government's burden to prove in any criminal case, correct? And that burden never shifts to the defendant.
That's correct, yes.
So when you were asked earlier about why the defense didn't file motions and do subpoenas, isn't that law enforcement and the government's job to prove their case?
Objection.
Dude, what are you? The jury's probably looking at him like, "Oh, I feel so bad," so he smiled at them. Where's my shots? All right. Get him some water. Get that man some water.
Mr. Elliott, do you recall that question?
I do.
Okay, and is it always the government's burden to prove their case, to prove in a criminal case?
It is.
Okay. Now, if law enforcement doesn't timely and appropriately obtain evidence, does that sometimes impact an entire investigation?
It can.
For example, in your experience as a homicide detective and working in civilian and military law enforcement, if you delay a search warrant for a month, can that materially impact a case?
It can.
And in your experience, have you seen times when there's been that kind of delay where evidence goes missing?
I have.
You talked earlier about the FBI and other cases you had been aware of where they had obtained DNA. You did not expand on that. Have you been aware of other cases in which the FBI has searched for DNA on casings?
The Las Vegas shooting.
So based on that answer, is it your understanding they do have the capacity, the ability to do that?
They do have the ability, yes.
Earlier you were asked a series of questions about, I'm going to categorize them as no harm, no foul. In other words, we know in hindsight now that certain things didn't happen. But in any case, homicide investigation, would you always want to start out assuming that anything can go wrong and to properly preserve that evidence?
Yes, of course.
For example, with regard to the firearm, when you testified about Lieutenant Benavides touching that firearm, would there be scenarios, not like it played out here, but where somebody else turned out to be the shooter, for example, and that firearm, it was important to know the fingerprints?
Well, of course. This investigation started with a 911 call. They are not always accurate.
And so I guess my question to you is, in your experience and your training and 13 years as homicide, were you taught and trained to preserve evidence and to take those appropriate steps in every single case?
Yes.
They We were asked earlier a series of questions about Ms. Gutierrez-Reed and whether she was there voluntarily or the appearance of being detained. Did the sheriffs drive Ms. Gutierrez-Reed to the sheriff's office?
Yes, they did.
Did they drive Mr. Baldwin to the sheriff's office?
No, he drove himself and followed a deputy.
Okay. From the time that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed was in the vehicle on the set to the time of the interview, did you ever notice any period of time when she was not in law enforcement presence?
I did not.
With regard to the questions about items and boxes on the prop card that you were asked, the 2 boxes, is it clear to you from reading the reports, everything that you reviewed in this case, what items Sarah and the other 2 individuals may have removed from the prop cart and taken to the prop truck?
No, it is not clear to me.
And based on your entire review of the whole case, has there ever been any follow-up or any information you've received that would have clarified that, what they took from the prop cart?
No, a vague, couple long guns. I think 2 revolvers, they do know who they came from. And other items that I don't know of.
One last question. If law enforcement delays, if they do not conduct a full investigation, it's possible for the defense to lose out on evidence that may have been exculpatory?
Yes, there is.
I have no further questions.
Peace out.
Thank you. Next witness.
Your Honor, we call Frank Kuski.
Frank Kuski. Frank Kuski. Oh, we're live. Okay, that's good. Thanks for being here, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit it. Share it out. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Oh, God, who is this guy? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Tell him to spell his name, please.
For the judge, raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you'll give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, have a seat talking to the microphone. Thank you.
Okay, sir, good afternoon. Can you please tell the jury your name again?
Frank Lewis Blair Kuski III.
Where do you currently reside?
Carmel Valley, California.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm managing director of Blair Financial Group, Money Managers.
Money Manager?
I want you, outside of your management and Blair Financial, to tell the jury about your experience with period firearms.
Yes. Let me check a note to make sure dates are correct.
What the fuck?
I took part in my first movies in this, which were done with...
And I'm not talking about the movies.
I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah, let me just try to center my question.
I'm still objecting.
Okay.
This is going to be a nightmare. First of all, what is the thing? Does he have... Is that a holster? What does he have on? Is he going to do a crossbody? Is that what's going on? Is that a holster? Oh, boy. This guy's going to be good. Did anyone get his full name? I missed it because I was laughing. What was his 2 middle names? It's a Merce. It's European. It's a satchel. Sorry, Irene. Please. Please, did someone get his full name?
Okay, Mr. Kuski, if I can just direct that a little more. I want to go just give the jury an overview of your experience with firearms. And not necessarily getting into movies yet, but your experience with firearms and period firearms and how you obtain that familiarity.
Do you wish for the long explanation or the short?
No, the short. The short's always better.
My father was a combat MP in the Second World War. I was shooting almost from birth. I was sent to rifle camp in Butte, Montana at age 6, which is hard to imagine. I grew up around a hunting family. My grandfather was a big-time hunter. I grew up hunting deer and pheasants with my uncle in the forests of Ohio. I had Ohio and Indiana and Pennsylvania hunting licenses ever since they were required. I was a member, I was a Boy Scout Riflery Merit Badge winner. I worked, was a member of the Kenyon College of Rifle Team. Following graduation from Kenyon College, I took up...
Sir, he said short. You didn't know what you did as a 6-year-old. What the fuck?
Firearms in a very serious way, beginning collecting and shooting. I was trained by Louis Tenenbaum, essentially right out of college, who was a member of the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit, who thought I was worth taking his time with that. I appeared in a number of little television shorts and things like that through that time period. And when I really got going on primitive firearms, and I won't even talk about self-defensive guns at this point, I was trained in combat guns. I first appeared in the George Washington television miniseries in 1984. And
George Washington television series in 1984? What the fuck?
And I was assigned my role as a surveyor in the wilderness, and of course I had my first real flintlock in my hands at that time. I, during the earlier times, had shot a lot of primitive weapons, primarily flintlocks.
Bro, this is the short version?
Black powder.
My best friend was George Washington, and I held a gun with him. We cut down a tree.
I was very interested in that. After that, I got going, and I joined a group called the 1st American Regiment in 1985, which was the premier late 18th century, early 19th century reenactors for military reenactment. And during this time, and I believe you have a nice picture of me firing cannons, I became a sergeant for artillery doing
this is the short version. Show the picture of him firing cannons. We want to see it.
Reenactment big time. And in that capacity, I appeared in lots of movies. I fired artillery. This is 18th century artillery. I fired the 1812 Overture with Cincinnati Symphony in various performances in big stadiums and things. I also, sorry for the cough, I also answered questions for NBC Nightline fairly routinely on weapons identification because, of course, I'm fairly good expert in Russian weapons and one of the largest collectors in the United States. I took part with 1st American Regiment in many.
I wish I had a stopwatch. I wish I would have started it when he started. Bowles is thinking this guy won't shut up, and I can't politely shut him up.
Different film productions, television productions, that sort of thing, which were done by PBS and I believe the History Network. These were shown at the time on television and also became educational movies programs. They sold the rights to us, charging with bayonets to all kinds of ad agencies.
Okay, let me stop you for a second.
There
there's a lot of information.
There it is. Bowles finally got him to shut up. Bowles is like, how am I going to get this guy to shut up?
Ad agencies.
Okay, let me stop you for a second because there's a lot of information. And,
well, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But I want to ask you, in the course of that, and you've had a whole lifetime, is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Of gun. Have you been a collector also of period type weapons?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Are you familiar with the revolver in this case, the .45 long Colt?
Absolutely.
Did you bring with you today that revolver? Not that revolver, but a revolver just like that revolver?
Yes, we would call it a sister. It is made by Pieta, the same exact company. It was nearly sequential serial numbers. It is absolutely identical. Any part would interchange, and it will look exactly like the Baldwin gun.
Did you also bring a replica gun with you?
Yes, I did.
And can you tell the jury just, first of all, what that is?
This is a Denex replica. Denex is a company in Spain that makes replicas of anything from shotguns to antique weapons to swords, things like that. They're used by...
Just wait for it, Lisa. He's going to pull it. He's going to do it. He's going to do the move. Yes, I do have a gun. He's going to do it right there.
by reenactors. They're used in movies. There was a Denex revolver on the set of Rust that was used as one of the dummy guns. There were in fact 10 non-firing replica guns on the set that looked like this. So it can't shoot, but it looks like it. It functions, it cocks, the cylinder turns, and from 5 feet away you couldn't tell unless you really looked.
Okay, sir. Let me, if I can. Yes, I was going to ask at this time, Your Honor, if I could tender him as an expert.
No.
In the categories I previously
Don't let
did.
him.
Well, why don't you state them on the record again?
Yeah, I was making sure I had the exact wording. Is that okay if you wrote those down? Because I don't want to change it. Well, I'll just say it again. It's firearm identification, firearm functioning.
No. No.
Reloading.
No.
Of ammunition and identification of ammunition of dummy rounds and live rounds.
No. Don't let him do it. Object.
Any objection?
Yes. Please.
No objection within the confines of what we discussed at the bench.
All right, thank you.
Yes, I understand. So, sir, if you will, I'm sorry.
For these specific areas, subject to the ruling up at the bench. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Sir, if you will, if you could, however the deputy handles this, but if you could retrieve the firearms from behind you.
Oh God. Oh God. I want to fast.
Do it in public, and I will clarify that it is not loaded. Okay. The first is a real.
Mr. Kuski, are you able to take the cylinder out so you can show everyone also that it's unloaded?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
There's something important. And here is a Denex revolver.
So, Your Honor, I'm going to object.
All right, first of all, everybody's nervous because you have not demonstrated to us that they are unloaded. So before you start showing us the weapons, make sure they're unloaded, including that one that you just touched.
This is parody. This is Saturday Night Live. No, put the audio back on. Put the audio back on. No. Did you guys just see that? He pointed it at the judge. No way. I gotta put that back. He just pointed at the fucking judge, and the guy had the court officer on the top of him. Watch this, guys. Holy shit. Watch this. Here it comes. Watch this. Watch the court officer. Here we go. You've got to be fucking kidding me. No fucking way. No fucking way. No fucking way. He just pointed it at the judge. This man just pointed it at the judge. What the fuck? What the fuck? The judge isn't even paying attention to him. Get this man home. Get OSHA in here. OSHA, arrest this man. Get the OSHA guys back out of the parking lot. They're measuring the parking lot lines. Get the OSHA back in here. Arrest this man. The audio's not on. Who you're talking to? Is this testimony right now? This is too much. This is too much. Oh. He pointed the gun at the judge. Oh. I can't.
I said money!
Waving guns about it, priceless. Oh.
Thank you so much, Dawn. Dawn, thank you so much. Dawn, thank you, Dawn. Oh. Oh. Get him back. Get this man back to Del Boca Vista immediately.
Okay, Mr. Cusi, I want to make sure that, first of all, the Denix is the replica that's non-firing. That is obviously clear. It cannot fire, correct?
Yes, I wish to demonstrate.
Okay, but just let me.
Paying to get this man back to the home.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Spitfire.
Exclamation mark face with tears of joy rolling on the floor laughing grinning face with sweat.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Let me lead the questions. Sure. The other Pieta, you cleared with the deputy, but I want you to be able to take that cylinder out so we can show everyone it's clear. Is that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Gun's pointed in the safe direction. Now, if we can get this pin out, the cylinder is retained. The cylinder is retained by a pin. Once that pin is removed.
Thank you so much, Helen. Helen, thank you so much, Helen.
The gun may be put in a partially cocked position. The cylinder may be pushed out, and again, the barrel's safe. You can look right straight through it. Sir, would you take that and show them all? It's empty. Is that acceptable?
It's up to the court.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
No, the deputy is not involved in this case.
Okay. And so
it is empty. I demonstrated it's empty.
Okay. Okay.
May I return it to the
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, Karen. And I just got a cash app from KTG. Thank you guys so much.
OMG. I can't. I'm screaming the F word at the screen. Don't point the gun at the judge.
Thank you so much, Fuzzy Puff. Thank you so much, everybody. This is too much.
Okay, sir. Now the first thing
Thank
I
you,
want to ask
Fuzzy.
you, comparing
Thank you,
the
KTG.
Denix, the replica, to the real, the Pieta, do they share some of the same characteristics?
Yes, they do.
And can you tell the jury, is the Denix made to look like the Pieta?
Absolutely.
And side by side, if you can, and Your Honor, may he step down to show the jury?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, if you can show them the Pieta and the Denix side by side, just so they can see.
This is a Denix. It is a replica, totally unfiring with a block barrel. It functions completely like a regular revolver. The cylinder turns, it will cock, it will snap and fire. It's unable to fire any ammunition. It's used as a replica, it's made of metal, and it functions just like a single action Army Colt, but it can't fire. I'll bring the next one, and then we'll compare them. Next gun, in the safe position. This is a Pieta revolver. This is the sister gun to the Baldwin gun. It's a .45 caliber single action 1873 revolver, like was issued to Custer's troops. It is a true .45 long Colt. We call it just Colt. And it was designed for the U.S. Army to be able to kill a man and a horse. And it was the...
Thank you so much, Moto88 says, so glad I was here to watch this live. Wild times. Thank you so much, Moto88. And thank you, Ayana, for the $10 Cash App. And thank you, Donna, for the $5. Thank you, Donna White, for the $5 super chat.
Most
thank you guys so much.
firearm in Western movies.
Thank you, Mr. Kuski. If you could.
Now, may I show the two together?
Yes, if you will just show
No,
them, but
don't
not
show
with,
anyone anything, sir.
Not with testimony, but just showing them.
Jill with $5. Thank you so much, Jill. You guys are amazing. Thank you all so much. What a day. Oh, it's Brenda's first live with us. You'll never forget it.
Mr. Kuski, in your review as an expert in this case, are you aware whether there was a Denix revolver like that on set on Rust?
Yes, there is. It was covered in the invoices as rented by Rust Management.
Now, not
Thank you so much, Amanda, for the super chat. Thank you, Amanda.
demonstrating at this point, but can you tell the jury, based on what you just showed them on the Pieta, how you safely decock that firearm when you get it cocked?
You wished me to pick up the gun and show how it is decocked? I would prefer first showing on a Denix to them
Yes.
and then on a live
Just
one.
show.
Your
Don't,
Honor, can I object? Can I approach?
Can we approach, and could the witness please not point the gun at me, please? Guys, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pause the testimony. Thank you guys so much. What the hell? That wasn't me. Get this guy back to Del Boca Vista. He's got to run for the president versus Kramer.
Okay, Mr. Kuski, if you will, using the Denix, the replica, demonstrate that the cocking and proper decocking of that weapon.
Yes. This is one of the primary things that an individual must be trained in to safely cock and decock a Colt revolver or a replica. Now first, the finger has to stay off of the trigger and outside of the trigger guard, no matter what. That's the essential rule of safety. The firearm is cocked with your thumb, you see. Finger's still outside of the trigger. No one touches any trigger. This is now a gun capable of being fired. Now, the first thing I do here is put my thumb on top of it. If I'm not real strong, I put two thumbs on. Notice my finger is still completely off the trigger. I then slowly, gently pull the trigger and lower the hammer onto the cartridge. I then back it up to its safe position. Now I will demonstrate the same thing exactly with the real Pieta revolver. Okay, we have Pieta safely aimed. My finger is off the trigger. You can see this is where it has to stay. If your finger's in there, you can't decock safely. Now, again, we cock 1, 2, 3, 4. C-O-L-T, the clicks. This is a cocked, ready to fire revolver if it were loaded. My finger must stay out of the trigger guard and on the side. Now, I put my finger in, but I don't put it in until I put my thumb here. Even putting it in before, like that, would cause it to fire perhaps. Now, I'm holding the hammer back. I can feel the spring. Everything's safe. Now my finger goes on the trigger, pulls the trigger, slowly lowers to a safe position without snapping, and then pulls back to the safety notch, which removes the firing pin from the cartridge. Notice my finger's out of there again, not that the gun is cocked. And that's the only decocking. A guy doing this experience can do it with his thumb, because this is all knurled here so it can't slip. Fingers out of there. I decock safely.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for demonstrating that. And I wanted to ask you, with regard to that operation, in this particular case, we're dealing with a movie set, obviously.
Yes.
Do the general rules of firearm safety, including the demonstration you just did, do they apply equally on movie sets?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, in your work as an expert in this case, reviewing all the information, did you agree with Mr. Haig's conclusion regarding violation of some of those safety rules?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you, I want to switch topics. I want to ask you about reloading. There's been some testimony about an inertia puller.
Yes.
And if you could tell the jury what an inertia puller is.
An inertia puller is basically a type of hammer that pulls bullets out of loaded cartridges when you have a misfire or you wish to disassemble old ammo. Basically, it has a plastic head about this big. It has a handle on it like a hammer that costs about $12. You put the cartridge, which could be any kind of cartridge, old dead cartridges, whatever you got, and you put it in, clamp it down with a little device, close the thing up, there'll be an empty space underneath, and there'll be a ring here holding the cartridge in metal, and you bang it on a table, and the bullet is pulled out. The bullet, remember, is the lead part, not the case. And the bullet will fall out. If there's powder, that will fall out as well. You then get a bullet, ka-ching. You have powder, which you can pour out, and you have a case, which may or may not be live primed, or maybe a good primer, maybe a rechargeable case, maybe anything that happens to be there.
Okay, so Mr. Kuski, if you wanted to reload a round, let's say you want to convert a dummy round to a live round, what are the steps in the reloading process?
Well, this is really extremely technically difficult, and the way it begins is you have to have, suppose it is a dummy. This is a beat up old piece of old brass that happens to have a dummy bullet in it. It has a dead primer in it. So what you start is you pop out the bullet. You see there's no powder. Now you turn over the case, put the bullet aside. The case is filthy. The case is all grody and nasty from sitting around. It has to go in a machine called a tumbler. Every reloader worth his salt has a tumbler. It's about this big.
Oh, shizzle.
AJ. Thank you, sir.
Loretta with her first live on her first super on a stream. You've made my day today, Jay. Thank you, sir. Loretta, thank you so much.
Sometimes it's a ball, sometimes it's a drum. It's filled with generally powdered walnut, and it's got a motor, and it spins and spins and spins as a polishing machine. And at the end of that time, you come out with brass that looks somewhat better than it started because it's knocked off some of the crud. You then wipe that down smooth. You then have to have a tool which is called a reloading press. I have a photograph, if you wish to see, of a reloading press. Would that be acceptable?
No.
We can actually, if you can finish.
Well, let's go finish. You then have a reloading press. The reloading press, as one of its functions, is to get that old dead primer out. Remember, the primer's in the little hole in the bottom of the brass you're holding. This press has a big lever. It has a special pin designed for that cartridge to remove the primer, because if it went the other direction, you'd bang the cartridge up. But there's one more tool you must have, and that's called a shell carrier or a little shell holder. And that's sized exactly for the diameter of the rim of the cartridge you're going to take apart. So a 45 couldn't take a 380 or something like that. Has to be a 45. Slide in that so it holds it completely solid. Put this in your press, line it up over the top, and pull. And when you pull, that pin will drive out the primer. Ka-ching. Now you've got a case with no primer in it. It's shined up as best as your material can do. Now we get to the good part. You have to put a new primer in. First, you have to have a new primer, and they're very, very hard to get in much of the markets because they've been just grabbed up. So you take this tiny little primer, you put it in a tool called a priming tool. This may be part of your press, or it may be an independent machine. And this will hold the primer safely. Again, it has to be for your cartridge. You have to put that little shell holder in. You put the shell, which is empty, the empty case, slide it into the holder, pull the lever, and the primer, which is quite explosive, is pressed carefully flat up into the exact right position. And if you didn't have the shell holder and all the right gear, you couldn't do it. The primer would blow up the minute it was hit, but it's safe this way. Now you've got a case, and that case is certain to get to be a live case. And it would be called a live case. It has a live primer, nice shiny case. You then put that in your press and go to the next stage. I have the press. You stick it in that ever-present shell holder again. It holds it perfectly, immaculately straight. You then have on your press something called a sizing die. And a sizing die costs about $55, fits in presses. You adjust that properly, which takes some skill, and you pull. The sizing die goes right over the top of the case and makes it the right size, because an old dummy isn't the right size. It'd jam up in your gun, wouldn't take a bullet, piece of junk. Once it's sized, there's a little ball inside, pulls it up, and that very neatly expands the top of the case. And without that expansion, you can't put a new bullet in. So now we've got a nice expanded case with a nice live primer in it. Looks pretty darn good. It's all sized to the right size. The mouth is expanded. Now you got to have a powder measure, and you have to have the right powder. You can't just use any old gunpowder. There are literally dozens and dozens. It has to be the acceptable powder for a .45 load and measured. You get too much, you blow up. Literally, blow up the gun, blow up in your face, and everybody knows about that. Put too little in, you get something called a squib, where it pushes the bullet into the barrel where it sticks. That's what killed Brandon Lee, was a stuck bullet. And now you've got the right amount of powder. Now to measure that powder, you need either a powder scoop of the right size, and they make dozens, so you'd say, okay, I want one for that powder, for that round. And you scoop it out. That's pretty fast. That's the old way. The new way is something like what I have, and these are computer-driven, perfect measures that will get within 1 grain of powder. And they're computer-driven trickle chargers. They cost about $300. They're real fancy. Put in the powder, put in the exact grains of weight that you want that powder to be, press a button, and a little tiny tray fills up, and you dump it into the cartridge through a little funnel. Now you've got powder, you got primer, you got a good case. You take your bullet and you put it on the top. But you need one more tool for your press, and that is a die that fits that bullet. And so you put in the die, everything's sitting there. You pull the big lever and puts pressure straight exactly down to push the bullet in exactly as deep as you want it to go. And after it's in there, the die that you've purchased, which is another expensive toy, presses on the outside of the case and puts what's called a crimp on it. And that case now has the bullet seated on top of the powder, the exact correct depth, which you know through measurements and books, and it squeezed real tight. Otherwise, the bullet would just fall out. Or the first time you fired the gun, the bullet would just flop out on the other cartridges. It must be crimped tight.
So, Mr. Kuski, that is an enormous amount of steps, correct?
Yes.
And I appreciate the complete explanation, because would you agree that it's not sufficient to just have an inertia puller
No.
to accomplish all those steps? Okay.
It's useless.
Okay. And with all of that required for reloading, you've described the components of a live bullet. Are you also in agreement with the FBI that you cannot tell a live round from a dummy?
Yes.
With a picture?
In a picture, absolutely not.
Did you, I know in the course of your expert work, you were able to watch portions of the trial and pay attention. Did you see in any of the videos or any of the pictures any of this type of reloading equipment you've been talking about?
Well, I believe in Seth has a tumbler, I think I saw in the back, which is what you polish up brass with for reloading. I saw...
Protection Foundation. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm having an issue with my shoe. Pardon me.
An issue with their shoe? What is going on today, folks? What a day. Thank you all so much for being here. Sorry I had a little giggle fit. All right, we're back.
Sir, let me ask you on a different topic with regard to the dangers of intermixing live and dummy ammunition. Can you tell the jury if those are stored in the same place, or is that potentially dangerous?
And I will object if we can approach.
Uh-oh, she's fixed her shoe. Balls is exasperated. He can't believe he paid this man any money to do anything. Get this man back to Del Boca Vista. Let him retire already. Where did Balls find this guy? This guy. So let's recap. We've had the two most boring humans in the world, OSHA experts. We had the private investigator who Morrissey destroyed, and we had this expert who pointed a gun at the judge. Defense is really doing good on their first day.
Kuski, do you regularly, as a gun collector, gun owner, everything, do you regularly have interaction with different types of ammunition?
Yes, I do.
And does that include live ammunition and dummy ammunition?
Yes, it does.
And do you, with regard to the dummy ammunition, do you teach individuals proper gun safety?
Absolutely. I'm an NRA certified pistol instructor.
And as part of that, do you sometimes use dummy rounds in your teaching with them?
Yes, I do.
In that capacity, have you become familiar with various types of dummy ammunition?
Yes, I do.
And are you familiar with various types of live ammunition?
Yes, I am.
Do you store live ammunition, or do you have a place to store live ammunition yourself?
Yes, I do.
And do you have a place to store dummy ammunition yourself?
Yes, I do.
Are you familiar with whether there are any dangers of storing those together?
Absolutely.
And why would that be?
There are two sides of the danger. One easy to see, and that is if a live round somehow found its way in with look-alike dummy ammunition, you would have a very severe chance of having somebody getting killed. Now the flip side is perhaps equally dangerous, though less visible. If I'm hunting Russian wild boar, which I hunt with a handgun in California,
no one cares,
and I go to shoot at a Russian wild boar that weighs 325 pounds and it's coming right at me, and the gun goes click because I substituted a dummy, I will be the dead one. So yes, both sides are bad.
Absolutely. And with regard to your storage of ammunition, is it important to have an inventory system?
Yes, I have an inventory system for all my ammunition, all my powder, all of my reloading, which goes into dozens of different kinds of rounds.
And in the course of your reloading, did you become aware that in 2021 timeframe, was it difficult to purchase primers?
Yes, we called the great ammo shortage, and there was, for a variety of reasons, a huge run on ammunition. You couldn't get primers to reload. You know, they just didn't happen. You couldn't get them. You go to the store, couldn't get them. You couldn't get even 9mm ammo. You couldn't get almost anything. The store shelves were emptied out. People were hoarding powder. Even my long-range rifle stuff, I couldn't get powder. So yes, that was called the great ammo shortage, and to a certain extent it still goes on.
Now, during your course as an expert, in this case, you heard Mr. Haig's testimony. Do you agree with his conclusion that the live rounds found on set were reloads?
Yeah, well, hand loads. A reload means that it's an old case reloaded. He was very...
Objection. Let's approach.
Mars, that was like a deep sigh. Objection. She's like, I cannot believe I have to object with this man so many times. Get this guy out of here, please. Oh, my Lanta, this freaking guy. Well, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. What's up, Dawn? When your case is weak, these are the experts you get. Your experts, these are the people that will present a case for you when your case sucks. Do you remember the state's gun witness? That man was legit. That man had his little suitcase, his little with the foam. Bonnie Bailey. Thank you so much. He knew what to do. He didn't point the gun at the judge.
Mr. Kuski, is it your opinion that from your viewing them, that the live rounds on set were reloads or hand loads?
Yes, it is.
And would you explain what you saw, the quality, were they lower quality in your opinion?
Lower quality than what?
In terms of like a store-bought round from a major manufacturer or something like that, or do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I believe they were less consistent than that of a major manufacturer. Meaning, and I can expound on that if you wish.
Yes.
No,
okay.
Don't expound.
When you get...
I'm going to object again. Let's approach.
This is insane. This is insane. This is insane. And of course, I haven't had monetization on this entire time. So you should have gotten 0 commercials so far because I fucked it up. Oh, Jay, you dopey idiot. What are you doing? Oh, what a day. What a day. You stupid dope. Oh, I forgot to do shots. Thank you guys for reminding me. It's okay, guys. You guys have been more than generous with with the super chat. So thank you all. No, it's good. You guys have been so kind, so don't even worry about it. Thank you. By the way, I gave the dogs Chunola, so Sarah McLaughlin, stay away from me. Sarah McLaughlin, you don't have to fly here and sing a song outside my house. I gave the dogs Chunola. It's okay. They're eating it right now. Stay home, Sarah McLaughlin. I don't need you coming to my house again singing a song. I take care of my friends. All right, here we go. Emmett, you said
okay, Mr.
Emmett Trent says the shot song cuts off too fast. It cuts off that fast because I got a copyright claim when it was longer. Lisa with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Money train hood.
Thank you so much,
Your
Lisa.
opinion is that these are hand loads.
Correct.
Okay. Now, you understand also as an expert in reviewing the information in this case, there are a variety of different types of dummy rounds on set. There were, and did that include some that rattled, some that did not rattle, and some with a hole in the side?
Yes.
Okay. Did you also review?
Kim says $20 from Hello Spring Kim. Best day. Get some treats for the babies. I will. Kim, you're the best. Thank you so much, Kim.
Evidence in this case of Mr. Baldwin not only being dangerous at the time of the actual tragic shooting, but dangerous at other times on set.
Objection.
This is insane. This is insane. Mandy Joe says JBN making terrible shit terrible since 2023. March 21st, 2023, folks. March 21st will be my 1-year anniversary streaming court cases. Thank you all for being here.
Okay, sir, my full question was going to be, did you see evidence that Mr. Baldwin was not safe with firearms after there was a yell of cut in a particular scene and he shot a blank after that scene?
Yes, I feel that's unsafe.
Okay. One further question. Are you familiar with the period weapon called a Henry rifle?
Yes.
Thank you, Ayana, who has just sent another Cash App to me. Now that's $20. Ayana, you're the best. Thank you so much.
I am.
Are you familiar whether if that is loaded or unloaded at the bottom of that rifle, whether somebody could see whether there was rounds?
Thank you so much, Kate A, for the good doggies. Thank you.
At the bottom of it, if they're just looking?
Yes, a Henry. May I go into
Yes.
detail?
No,
a Henry
don't
rifle
go
is
into
the
detail.
predecessor to the Winchester. Mr. Henry actually invented the Winchester. It is a rifle with a
Don't ever let this man go into detail. You just can't allow it. Judge, I object to this man ever going into detail.
very long barrel, doesn't have a handguard under, which was a problem. It's loaded from the top in a kind of a weird way, and the ammunition, the cartridges are dropped into a long tube where a spring pushes them down. One of the biggest disadvantages, and this was in the Civil War, is it has a long open side on it, beneath the barrel, where you can actually look in and see all the loaded cartridges. Now they thought that was a really good deal until they got in the mud of the trenches and the cartridges were all jammed. Right now, if you look at a Henry, anybody who knows anything about Henrys looks at that Henry and says the whole side's open and you can see ammunition in there, dummies, whatever. And if you don't have that, they're going to be laughing because it looks like an empty rifle.
Finally, sir, the last question I want to ask you, with regard to, there was some criticism in the trial, one point of Miss Gutierrez Reed holding a shotgun with it pointed in front of her. Do you have an opinion on that with regard to, for example, military drill?
Yes, I do.
Objection.
I'm doing drill.
Oh my God. This is all too much for me to handle. Wait till the cross.
Sir, I'm gonna, yet another objection, withdraw that question. And that's all the questions I have.
Cross-exam.
It's funny. He said that with sass. Yet another objection. Except he lost it because it was wrong and she was right. There wouldn't be objections if you didn't have a shitty witness and you asked shitty question, you fucking idiot.
Mr. Kuski, do you agree with me that basic gun safety requires that the handler of the gun not point the gun at anyone?
If it's a real gun, yes.
Do you agree with me that while you were sitting here in the courtroom, you pulled out a gun and you pointed it at the judge?
I do not.
You disagree?
I pointed the gun into this space.
Oh my God, I gotta rewind that.
If it's a real gun, yes.
Oh my God.
Do you agree with me that while you were sitting here in the courtroom, you pulled out a gun and you pointed it at the judge?
I do not.
You disagree?
I pointed the gun into this space up here, never directly at the judge.
Wrong.
Do you agree that basic gun safety requires that you keep the muzzle of the gun pointed down for safety?
Not at all. A gun may be pointed, as any hunter education class like I taught, may be pointed up, may be pointed back, may be pointed cross arms, as in the military, may be pointed at the ground, may be put in something like a military stance, such as order arms with the butt on the ground and the piece right under your arm. So, no. And to further, in a cross draw or any of the...
No, I'm not talking about a cross draw, thank you. Do you agree that when you pulled that firearm out and pointed it in the direction of the judge, the deputy standing next to you had to intervene and grab the gun and point it down?
I want to object.
Hey, check out my stream. I posted it also on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to see a replay, check out the shaming of Jay on Instagram and Twitter and on YouTube. He did do that. Roll the tape. Don't pretend like you didn't do that, you jabroni. You jackass. You didn't even realize you fucking pointed your gun at the judge, you idiot. You pointed your gun at the judge, you fucking dope. How? You're
Mr.
a gun
Kuski,
expert?
Have you ever been qualified as an expert in firearm safety in a court of law?
No.
Have you ever worked on criminal cases before?
Yes, I have.
Have all of the cases that the criminal cases that you've worked on, has Mr. Bowles been the attorney in all of them?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No.
Uh-oh. She's about to get the receipts. And she is so mad. Oh, man. I've seen her frustrated.
Give me a moment, please.
But she is so pissed today. Holy shit. She can't even hide it. I mean, she's been pissed before, but she's on another fucking level right now. Oh, my God. She's so mad.
Let me clarify my question. Have you worked on criminal cases related to the securities industry?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Other than, and you're an investment banker, correct?
Not exactly, but sufficient name for it.
Okay. And other than working on criminal cases having to do with securities, do you agree with me that the only other types of criminal cases you've worked on have all involved Mr. Bowles?
I do not.
Isn't it true, sir, that you provided a pretrial interview in this case on November 29th, 2023?
Yes, I did. Yes.
And isn't it true that during that interview, my investigator, Mr. Rice, asked you, is Mr. Bowles the only attorney that you've worked with? And your response was, outside of the securities industry in the past, yes.
Yes, and I have worked since then and I've worked prior to that confidentially with cases before the United States Navy and other cases which were criminal, and I believed you were speaking only of what's going on here. If you'd like to hear the other ones, I'm very happy to tell you. I worked, for example, with the Monterey Sheriffs.
Is there a question?
No, there isn't. There is not a question on the table right now.
Oh, she's so bad. Look at Balls. Balls is defeated.
You gave a lengthy description about how a person could turn a dummy round into a live round. You recall the testimony that you gave moments ago.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about doing the opposite, okay? I want to talk to you about taking a live round and turning it into a dummy round.
Okay.
Okay? Do you agree with me, sir, that the first step is you would place the live round in the inertia puller and smack it so that the projectile separates and the powder comes out?
Yes.
And at that point in time, you are left with an empty casing, a projectile, a pile of gunpowder. But the problem with your casing is that it still has a live primer, right?
That's right.
So in order to make the primer inert, you can take that empty shell casing with that live primer, you can put it into a firearm, and you can fire it.
Correct.
And now I've made the primer inert.
There is another way if you wish to hear.
No, I appreciate you, though. But
Thank you. Yes, I agree.
You agree that what I'm saying, it can be done.
Can be done.
And then after I've fired it and I've heard the pop, knowing that the primer has now been made inert, I can take that projectile and I can just put super glue on it and stick it back into that casing.
Well, you couldn't normally without expanding the case. That's what I was talking about when you do a sizer. You could expand the case with a sizer, because what's going to happen in many cases, and I can't say every one because I've never done super glue, is it's very difficult to get a bullet into a case that hasn't been expanded and sized. You could try it. I can't guarantee it'll work.
Sure, I mean, you can take the empty shell casing and you can put it on top of a projectile, and you can take your inertia puller or a hammer and just tap it down.
An inertia puller is made out of plastic. It is not for tapping anything down. But you could take a hammer, but what's very likely to happen is you'll bend the case beyond all use and recognition, and it can't fall in. That's why you expand cases in the process. You could try it. I've never beat in any bullets. Some bullets are very, very hard, some are soft. So it is possible with a soft lead bullet that you could maybe not bend your case and maybe not shave off your bullet. Possible.
And isn't it true, sir, that the live ammunition found on the set of Rust in fact had soft lead bullets?
I didn't measure the lead, so there's something called a...
Well, hang on. I appreciate your response. In fact, sir, you have never actually viewed the live rounds that are in evidence. You've only seen pictures of them, isn't that correct? So you haven't taken them and looked at them, right?
No, I've taken all the pictures and looked. That's it.
Okay, but you watched the testimony of our expert, Mr. Haig.
Yes, I did.
And isn't it true that Mr. Haig testified that the projectiles from the live rounds found on the set of Rust were soft lead?
I didn't hear soft, but lead, certainly.
They weren't copper jacketed, correct?
No, not copper jacketed.
And he also testified that because they were lead, and lead is a soft metal, that's the reason that that projectile became so damaged when it went through Ms. Hutchins and into Mr. Souza.
Absolutely, that's called ballooning.
All right, thank you, sir. You testified on direct examination that you can't tell a live round from a dummy round in a photograph.
Simply in a photograph. I agree with Mr. Haig, who said the same thing.
Well, do you agree with me that you can tell a live round from a dummy round in a photograph if that dummy round has a hole drilled into the casing so it can't have any gunpowder?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, sir.
Look at Bowles looking at the jury.
And in your review of the case materials, sir, you understand that live ammunition from PDQ Props was sent to the FBI, and it was determined to be substantially different than the live rounds found on the set of Rust.
I do.
You gave an opinion earlier that you believe that the live rounds were hand loads.
Yes,
you recall
I do.
that?
Yes.
And I just want to be clear, you're giving that opinion just from looking at photographs, not from going to the evidence room, taking the evidence, handling it in the way that Mr. Haig did.
Yes.
All
and,
right.
and from Mr. Haig's testimony as well.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Good luck, Bowles.
Your Honor, I don't have any follow-up questions.
This witness
Oh,
is
he
excused.
gave up.
Thank you.
He threw the flag. The guy wore a whole holster, didn't even get to use it. He wore a holster. No more. Look at the judge. Judge can't fucking believe it. Now, he's narrating, putting his gun away. Get this man. Get the OSHA guy in here. Someone help this guy home, please. Look at the judge. Judge cannot believe what has happened today. The judge cannot believe what has happened. Yes, there's your hammer, sir. Go home. Please don't ever testify again. Take your holster off. Go back to the Civil War reenactments. Who's next? Hannah's dad? I wonder if they're thinking if they're going to take a break or end for the day. End for the day on that. If I'm the prosecution and the judge and the defense officer, end the day on that shit. Judge can't believe this shit is happening. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye. And good luck to you. Oh, my Lanta. What a day, folks. What a day. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Again, I apologize. I lost it a little bit. I'm sorry about that, but you guys have kept it together. Thank you. Thank you for being the best chat around in the universe. Thank you, mods, always for crushing it. Thank you, Dizzy, for the info. What a day. What a day. And this is your first, this was someone's first stream today, man.
All right, jury, we're going to finish for the day.
I told you. Knew it.
You can expect closing arguments to commence tomorrow morning, not right away. The defense is still putting on their case, but when the defense is finished, then we will do closing arguments, and they anticipate that it will be sometime in the morning.
Wow.
That we will get to closing arguments, okay? So please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court. Don't do any research or online Googling about the Rust production or this trial. Thank you. We'll see you at 8:30.
Yeah, so that means Hannah ain't testifying. I have a feeling they're going to call Hannah's dad. They're going to call Hannah's dad and rest their case. I could be wrong. Just a guess. They call Hannah's dad to rest, and they rest their case, and then closing statements, folks. Heather My Kai Tai says rules, be respectful. LOL, Jay. You are rude to some of your followers. Obviously, you don't hold true to your own rules. Bye. Hey, Heather, is this an airport? You don't need to announce your departure. Peace out, Heather.
Hey, everybody.
Peace out. Nice.
Weber
Have a
here.
nice
Thank
day,
you so
Heather.
much.
It's been real. See ya. See ya, Heather. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, Heather. Bye. See ya. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you. That's from Dizzy. Thank you guys so much, other than Heather. Actually, no, thank you too, Heather. Thank you for the views, Heather. Hit the thumbs down. Do what you got to do, Heather. Thanks, Heather. Oh, Heather, Heather, Heather. What a day, folks. So you guys heard it. Closings tomorrow. They're not done. The defense is going to call another witness, I think. Maybe Hannah's dad. And then closings. And then verdict watch. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. Karen says, finally a Heather, not a Karen. All right, folks. Tomorrow, 10:30, I think. I'm going to set it for the normal time. What a day. I can't thank you all so much for your support. Get ready for closing statements tomorrow. Can't wait for the closing statements. And then verdict watch, folks. Verdict watch. Yeah. Thank you, mods. Thank you all so much. Have a good night. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Joanne with a $5 super chat. Joanne.
Today's comedy was brought to you by the Rooster and Bent Eggplant.
Oh, man. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I haven't been doing this, but I'll do it now.
Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Out.